So, and to me, this is kind of bleeding into my next thought, which is like, what's your UVP in terms of like what makes you different from the other mentors that maybe aren't mentors, they're just gurus or whatever, or trying to sell their you know, quick path through Candyland to get to the other side of the game board versus helping that client realize what they truly need to do, who they truly are, and how to see the red flags with rose-colored glasses.
Good question. It is actually tough today because everyone feels that they're grooming. One thing I do so for myself is be critical. It's okay to be critical, and it's okay to ask questions. If you're not asking questions, or if you're not allowed to ask questions, instant red flag, instant. If you're forced to sign up to something or be sold something quickly, red flag. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best or the expert. There's always bigger fish. There's bigger fish everywhere. However, I know what I know. And if I don't know anything, I'm going to say I don't know. But I know there's someone else I can direct you to that does know. So that's what I'm like. Community is also important. If you feel humility and there's openness and space to ask questions, I think those two are like good green flags so far. And yeah, I don't really do like courses like that. So I'm not selling a course. I do have a YouTube channel, like a podcast, but it's just very new. But it's essentially just trying to give more of this information and more in the digital space that we are in now, right? So, like I'm sure
curious what keeps you from the courses path. Nothing wrong with that to not do it. I'm just curious to learn. Is it because there's so many gurus out there that push a certain type of learning, or because it has to have that one-to-one factor? Because a lot of people I know do like live courses versus pre-recorded now. So they'll say, hey, for the next 6, 12 weeks, whatever, you're in this cohort of 6 other people. And because it's only 6 people, we have one-to-one breakout sessions where it's still just you and me, but then I'm teaching that group topic and hitting record, repurposing little bits for the YouTube, etc. And that's kind of their live course approach versus something that's just asynchronous and, you never get to meet Joseph face to face or whatever. So
yeah, I'm really a big fan of community. You need to find someone in your local community that you can trust, that has this information, and there will be someone there, right? All I'm trying to do is just empower people with information so they can actually know who they can find that can help them in the local vicinity. Now, one thing that I did, my journey was that I tried to figure this out online. I saw a lot of principles, but I realized I only got better on a one-to-one basis, right, with my own mentor, right? And I did a lot of courses. I invested a lot in myself because I liked myself. I would say I paid some dumb tax in terms of like I was maybe chasing that not quick route, but like I'll do anything to get somewhere, and maybe I'm still paying the price for that now, but I still have the value. I mean, I've always had a good knack for bullshit, honestly speaking. Like I don't know where that comes from personally. I think that's just a blessing. But the things that I have come into contact with has always been something that is actually legit. So, but I think it's having that questioning mind. Maybe it's because I'm an accountant, I have an accounting background, so I'm questioning. I can sense there's space for asking questions that is okay. That's clean. See, a good decipher is it clean or fishy? Right? Is it murky? Is it murky? Does it make you can listen to your gut a little bit, because I believe that our conscious mind does kind of like help us to detect red flags. But of course, it's not because of our greed or fear that we kind of push it aside just to get something we want, because we are, again, I'm saying a lot. I'm now saying a lot, but
no, it makes sense. I'm just taking notes. I mean, like that gut check is, the reason why that cop goes and checks out that thing that they have a hunch on. And I think that's honestly that could be a big unique selling point for you, is like listen, I don't do traditional courses. I don't have shortcuts for the Candyland game board. When you work with me, if you get a group learning type of course, it's going to be still one-to-one based. When you learn how I teach you things, it's going to be through your lived experience. And, the fact that you teach them, even with greed or fear or whatever else in the way, they can still see those red flags with the rose-colored glasses on, because nobody wants to take the rose-colored glasses off. Everybody wants to have wealth and whatever, like how they say define happiness. It's kind of the same thing. Like, well, wealth could mean a million things. Like between you and me, I'm debt-free right now, but I'm also skating on savings. I have like close call $1,200 to my name right now. So it's like, how can I create equity in different ways, whether it's conversations like this or communities I build or people and spaces I help, and eventually build and stack on that, versus feeling like I need to take a shortcut that some guru sold me for $497, that it's going to be the answer to all my problems, so
Yeah. But it's honest. It really come down to personal development. Like, if you're working on yourself, you're exposing yourself, and you're being honest with yourself. You attract people that do the same thing. And when you see someone that doesn't really strike the same chord, or doesn't seem to be really coachable or humble to learn, or to even like invite questions and concerns or something like that, then you really have to just like it's your fault. Like, okay, I say, man, like if I get duped once, okay, it's still my fault, but there is some accountability to the person who duped me should take. However, if it happens second, third, fourth time, it's clearly my fault. There's something that I am doing that I'm attracting this, and I'm not seeing the red flags here. Sometimes I even say the first time you get duped, it's probably your fault, because you just weren't in a sensitive frame of mind, and yeah, that greed and fear thing is massive, and just being aware of that is really important. But yeah, I've been blessed to at least have people that told me, look, success is not for everybody, and actually wealth is not for everybody. If you really want good results, you've got to do a lot of work. It's not going to be nice. You've got to lose friends. It's going to be boring. It's not going to be interesting. It's not going to be exciting. But that's the price. That's the price. That's the price. There's no shortcut. Everyone has their own different ways, so don't try to compare the paths that people take. Just do the fundamentals. Do the fundamentals consistently over a period of time without being sabotaged by your emotions. You will do good. And I'm sounding like a motivational speaker, but that's literally, it's just that. The basics consistently over a period of time without being sabotaged by your emotions equal good results. Always.
I think there's an element in there that you taught me earlier in the call too, which is mixing in mentorship that's proper mentorship. And that's kind of that missing ingredient, because people may do something consistently and put in the work and put in the practice and learn the basics, but if they don't have that mentorship or community, they're just out there rowing the boat with one oar, so going in circles, one-legged duck. So
this is actually very true. Yeah, I missed that bit, but you're right, totally right. So yeah, that's kind of a bit more about, that's kind of like just my philosophy. I love talking about it. Honestly, I love researching it. I love studying it. I love looking at it. I think I have a heart for people, especially when I see, man, if you see that some of the problems in the world, and you really start to like diagnose the problems in the world, I kind of blame people for it, because we elect the people we have today. We invest in we put our money into companies that don't care about us. We encourage different things, etc. And we're going to get hurt for it. People who understand and have the knowledge will take advantage of that. That's just the name of the game. You need to understand the game and learn to play it well. It is what it is. Now it doesn't mean you should lose your soul or like be very dark. Because actually, I did reach that point where I felt very negative towards people, because when I was looking at all these different things, globally speaking, I was like, why do we tolerate this? What's wrong with people? Am I the only one to see this and to like try and do the work to try and figure this out? But I realized that, through my mentor now is that, look, it's okay. It is what it is. It's humanity. But there are a few that, that's what leadership is all about. Leadership is having people being able to lead by example, and servant leadership. That's what we need today. We need servant leadership. We already have we have so many billionaires and trillionaires that are bad people. I think we need some billionaires and trillionaires that are good people, and are willing to add more value to society. Because good leaders need to arise, not bad leaders. And we don't have good leaders anywhere, like anywhere at all. It's very rare I see that in the US, in Europe, in China, and Asia. And actually, okay, this is going to be another one. Like, the bad leadership comes from people who have good intentions, because of their humanity, and because of the lack of like the stress that they have, the lack of the other leaders to like handle the load. They become tyrannical, and they just get frustrated with the people, and they become tyrannical. Like, if you look at Moses, like in the Bible, right? He had the idea, let's make leaders of 10, 5, but because people were lazy, he became a bit tyrannical in the end. Like was misbehaving a bit as well. That's why you can go into the promised land. I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. So I do think, like, I think I have it on my heart. That's why I'm trying to invest in people, which is, so what information I receive, I know I need to somehow give it to other people. That's the river. That's the river flowing. I have my source, and needs to flow. They probably have their source. That's what apprenticeship and mentorship is. Everyone, like every smart person that I've met, they all have mentors. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. They're not God unto themselves. They obviously getting some knowledge from somewhere.
I thought of another one. Checks and balances, because you help people that are Czech with their checks, and then you help them with balance twofold. You're helping them with the balance of life and the balance of the mentality behind their balances, their financial balances. So
checks and balances. I might have to just
I'm writing these down. I'll send you a one sheet after. Yeah, no. So, that's the big question for me is like, I mean, like what we're doing is really where I have a lot of fun, which is like helping people strategize their business and wrap their head around what makes the most sense for how we frame what we do and kind of how we elevate our expertise that we already have. So for you, if I like, one of the guys I look up to is Michael Bungay Stanier, and he's got a book called The Coaching Habit. But the first question in the set of like 7 questions is like, what's the biggest challenge for you right now? So it sounds like you've got that expertise, you've got that lived experience and that knowledge, and we can get into the what's the biggest challenge next. But actually before that, I'm curious, what's kind of your, do you have a hero's backstory? So like for me, I had meningitis when I was a year old, and I became deaf on my right and blind on my left. I struggled to keep up writing in class. And then when I learned to type at age 10, I could type 120 words a minute. And then all of a sudden I wasn't that kid that was like struggling to keep up in class, because I could look up in class, and I was typing so quick that I was getting more notes typed than most people. And now here we are with voice to text, and I've got Microsoft Copilot going, and it's got literally all the pattern insights that I'm kind of typing 5-10 words at a time and saying, extract that from what Joseph's saying. And when the call's over, I'll send you a 2-pager that's going to be like, here's all those things that we talked about and what the best next steps are. So for you, what's your kind of hero's backstory? If you have one, you don't have to, but I find a lot of people do.
By the
way,
did
you go through these pits in a similar way? Oh yeah, sorry.
Breaking up. Yeah. No, it's all good. So I don't know if I have a hero story. I think I'm still in it. Like I had a decent upbringing, like nothing crazy. I wasn't. My family weren't well off. Probably in, like lower class, uh, lower lower middle class, borderline poor. Nothing crazy. But I moved to the Czech Republic for love. It didn't work out, but I stayed, in the Czech Republic during COVID, and it took a while. Like, to be fair, like a breakup, everyone goes through breakups, but I don't know why it hit me so hard. It hit me hard in a way like I was frustrated. Why I didn't understand females, if I put it this way. It's a topic anyway.
No, you're fine.
And like I got into the stage where I was just kind of like sad, just kind of mellow, just kind of like drifting, and just kind of like doing nothing. Then it hit me. I remember, I think it's like the 25th or the 26th of December 2021. I just realized I'm bored. What is this? I'm bored of feeling this way. Let's change it. What do we need to change? All right. Let's work on health. Let's work on mindset. Let's work on money. Let's work on knowledge. Let's work on everything. Let's just literally work on everything. And I think maybe it's also my upbringing in terms of like, I do have a Christian background, so like I do really believe in like we're meant for something bigger. And because my name is Joseph, I realized this through my like brain dumping in terms of like just journaling in my homework that I've always had something. I believe I'm meant for something great deep down. And I've always been someone that, like, I've been the firstborn. So my parents have always told me, oh, you're a leader, this, that, the other. Everyone's always been scared to, like if there was a question in the classroom, people always were scared to answer. And like, I know everyone knows the answer. Why were you scared? And I was just wanting to just do it. I was always be the first one to put my hand up. And I think I feel like you were saying that Joseph had like Bible, right? That he had a rough moment with his family, but something came out of it. Something great came out of it, where he could not just save only his family, but even the world at that time, right? And so I'm not saying that I'm going to be saving the world, but I do feel I have something. There's something within me that drives me to do more than just survive for myself. I feel I have to do more to empower others. I don't know where that comes from. I really can't tell you that, but that's just my story. And it's really exciting because I know the next, I'm gonna put it this way, next 5-10 years, if I could, the past 3 years after I made that decision to like just step up, take all the losses, own the fuck ups. So guess what? I can own and earn all the wins and say it's mine. Ever since I took that responsibility to invest in myself, it's been the best thing ever. And I just realized more people need to be doing this. I can't like if I have to learn how to speak better, okay, I'll do it. If I have to learn how to tell stories, motivate, empower, or better understand, communicate what I understand in a storytelling fashion, because there are many experts that just are terrible at communicating. They have no swagger, they have no influence, they have no whatever. Just learn how to be relatable. Learn how to be relatable and inspire people. It's not very hard. There's so many books and people doing it everywhere. But if you have a true heart, and I believe I do, then it's all good. It's all good. But if you have a fraudulent heart, which is what I did have that until someone showed me a better way. Someone showed me that there is a better way to do so. Like one of them is, I don't know if you've heard this book before. It's called The Go Giver. Such a small book, but such a powerful book that literally transformed my mind. It talks about the 5 laws of success. And the first two are just really, really powerful. So the law of value basically. The law of value states, give more than you receive in payment. Give more than you receive in payment. And what happens is that you create a force field of attraction that because you're always giving more than you're ever receiving, people just want to hang out with you all the time. Right? Now, just because you have a lot of value doesn't mean you get a lot of income. Just because you have a lot of value
Yeah.
doesn't mean you get a lot of income.
I feel that one hard.
But guess what? It's the law of compensation. That's the next law. Law of compensation dictates your income is tied to how well you serve others, and how many people you serve, and how well you serve them. So why does Facebook get so much money? It doesn't mean that it's not the superior product. It's just because they're reaching billions of people. That's the only reason. Why does McDonald's do better than actually a great sandwich shop that actually does really good food with grass-fed beef, etc., etc.? Because they serve a ton of people. They serve a ton of people. You know, so if you combine just those two, give more than you're receiving payment, give more value than you're receiving payment, plus you expand or find vehicles where you can actually reach out to more people. This is why you can't be being an employee is very limited. You're only serving one company. You can't get much capital from that unless you're like really, you know, you're now serving the stakeholders or the shareholders, which is the CEO, right? But even then, you're kind of slaving away. Can't really do much. This is where I realized, okay, maybe I need to start a business. So this is where self-employed came from. But I realized, hey, I'm being stretched here. I can't serve so many people. In fact, I don't have much time to do so. So the question there was like, okay, I need help. I need to work with people who are like-minded, who are like-minded. So this is where big business owner came from, right? Where who can I partner with, and who can I empower is now people focused. It's not so much product. It's now people focused. Who can I partner with, or who can I work with? Community. This is where community comes from. That have the same values I have, principles I have, desire and goals in mind, and let's try to do this together, adding more value and sharing that thing, and sharing that, and you'll be surprised, income just starts to roll through somehow. And so I really realized I realized that, you know, self-employment, even though I'm doing that, is not where I will be. You know, I need to make sure I'm scaling that through people, which is investing in people. So this is where, again, it comes back to what I try and do. Reaching out to people, free value, well, free most of the time, right? In terms of like, because in the Czech Republic, we get paid by the institutions, not the individuals. So it's amazing that that's impossible. But the value that I give, I know because I've invested in myself, is really high. So people will stay. But of course, I need to empower other people to do the same thing, right? And that's why YouTube does so well. Or YouTubers, or few YouTubers who have been able to add a lot of value to a lot of people kind of do well when they have a lot of sponsors who are able to leverage their network.
Is YouTube an area where you're interested in growing? I mean, I've been sharing pieces of my perception there, and it's been pretty well received. And not that I look up to this person at all, but the Alex Hormozy guy, I mean, he had a whiteboard and was brain vomiting every day, no fancy graphics and stuff, and just gave it all away. But when he had that 6-figure offer, it wasn't for 99% of the people, because his whole model was giving it all away for free as common knowledge. So
so yeah, like he's a great guy, smart individual, and he deserves all the success he gets. And we need more of him, if you ask me. So YouTube is that avenue I use. It's not my main focus, but it is a focus that I am using. I'm just trying to find
same boat for me. Yeah.
I'm just trying to leverage the different outlets, and
yeah.
I do have a mentorship group that I work with that are helping me to become better, and then to give better as well, like to reach out as well. So that empowers, that helps. That's kind of my big focus. And then once I have because I recognize I need to have more fruit on the tree. I need to have more fruit on the tree, not just head knowledge, which is nice, and not just be a guru all the time, but head knowledge to say, okay, look, these are my results based on my principles. Now you can like work with me, you know, not just say, you know, not just like, people should follow me because I say good things. No. Is there fruit in the
That's
tree?
kind of
So I'm
same
just
boat for
planting
me.
seeds.
Like I was on stage earlier this week and gave a talk on ethical AI use and getting systems to give you what you're hoping for versus just hoping for the best and not giving it enough to chew on. And then I pointed to like, free checklist and other free resources. And even with all that stuff between not getting paid to speak that event, between and I get paid to speak for the corporate stuff on occasion. Between giving away a copy of the replay on YouTube, I'm going to drop that before Friday. Between the checklist and the prompt guide and the other stuff that I'm loosely putting together, all of that stuff is free. But the irony is, I think I've gotten 3 people so far this week that have reached out and said, hey, we think you should come maybe do a workshop with our company, or, hey, I think I might want to work one-to-one with you because I really saw the value you brought to the stage. And what really got me was this lady said, there's nothing against the other 2 speakers, but the 2 people that went before me showed literal math on the screen and was like, this is how AI works. And then I got up there and I was like, here's a conceptual image of what it feels like. Here's how you can get from A to B very simply. And here's how to think of it in a way that it makes sense each time versus here's the engine under the hood, which it's really cool that those other speakers know all that. But the lady that talked to me after said I made it so relatable, like you said, through storytelling and through the skills I brought to the table as Matthew, who had been through that swamp with Yoda before, and not just somebody saying they could do the thing, but not actually showing how to do the thing. So, but I'm kind of the same boat. So it's like I did the speaking. I got a few one-to-ones booked this week that I'm not expecting payment from, but hopefully I can align that one-to-one value and maybe they'll see a deeper need. And then in the meantime, I'll go to more networking, and people are already spreading the word about how, hey, he's going to share that to his YouTube. And believe it or not, they had a streaming issue. They were going to stream it to LinkedIn Live, and people were pissed online. They were like, we've been waiting here 30 minutes and it's still not streaming. Well, I actually stepped up for once and brought my proper camera, and I hit record with my wireless mic from 50 feet away, and I did the thing. So now it's like, hey, I can actually have a tangible thing to point back to, versus in the past I didn't have that setup with me, and I've had a camera 15 years. So it's like, we know we do these things we do, and whether it's finances or showing up for our own brand and how we share and anything in between, it's like what makes the most sense at any given time. And the irony is, I think we're teaching that to the people we help too, is like, you don't have to solve the whole puzzle at once. But I'd love to, I know we're at the top of the hour. I've got a group coaching thing I need to hop into soon, but I'd love to have a
Likewise.
follow-up. I'd love to have a follow-up
100%.
chat because I know you mentioned, figuring out what collaboration looks like for you, and similar boat for Ioana and I. That's what Litmus Collective is. It's the me becoming a we, and we're doing that with stuff like the education model that you're doing similarly, like giving a lot of it away for free, but also giving really high value one-to-one expert help in different ways. So I guess
Like
Mhm.
we just recorded this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's funny because I would actually love to share this on my YouTube channel. It just came to my mind just right now because of it's such a nice breakdown of just natural conversation, and actually you'd be surprised by how valuable conversations like this are to people. So I think that could be definitely something we can definitely use. But I know that it is top of the hour,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty late for.
No, likewise. I think maybe if we did a part 1, part 2 split, then I could point them over to yours, you could point them to mine, and then in the meantime we can figure out the next steps for together, whatever that means. So
Sounds amazing.
the one thing I didn't get into with you that maybe you could do for homework, or even just spend 1 minute now, let me know. What's the biggest challenge for you right now? That's really the core question from that book I mentioned. Because you've got the expertise and you've got the experience in the background. What challenge are you facing right now? Is it processing that content? Is it packaging out these educational pieces to share? Is it landing new clients? I know that I mentioned that third because that's not really, the bigger challenge at the end of the day. So
I'll definitely say, just to round up, I'll definitely say fruit on the tree. Actually, I don't really think there are any challenges. There are challenges, don't get me wrong, but like, I know I'm doing the work on me. And kind of going back a little bit to what you're saying, just keep planting seeds. Keep planting seeds. You'd be surprised by the return on investment when the time is right and the season's correct. Things start rooting. Things start to what's the word? Sprout and grow. Sprout and grow. So for me, I'm patient. I'm very patient. I'm not in a rush to like, I need to see some money now. I need to da 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 da. Like, this conversation happened because I had a conversation with one. And it was just a general conversation of getting to know each other. And I can already see there's some value here between the two of us. And just by giving each other like just the space to talk and share and collaborate, I've been fed. I can feel that. I've been fed. And it's really, really great. And I hope
I feel that way too. Yeah, it's a nice conversation. So,
you know, and I do know that this is definitely what the world needs. We need more conversations, you know, wars and everything like that. You know,
well, and like the guy at that event I went to speak at said, he was like, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to close the next gap. And I didn't get to talk to him about this part, but I was essentially what I was getting to with him was like, you're going to have this realization that like AI and technology and community and all these other pieces that close that gap inherently at the end of the day are going to be free. Like everybody's paying 20 USD a month for GPT and stuff right now, but at the end of the day, they're going to be paying 200 a month or whatever to work human to human. And the tools and community support and everything else behind it is ultimately going to end up being free because it's just going to be that kind of societal model and movement of data, I guess, you know, like I wasn't scared to share my prompts on stage. I'm like, here, this is the prompt I use to get a white paper after a call. This is how I boil it down to a page. This is how I get questions bubbled up that we didn't think about or patterns we didn't see. I wasn't scared to share that. I don't need to publish a book. I don't need to, I mean, might collect their email, but really that's just so I can keep helping them, you know, and I don't spam. I send out like maybe a couple times a month. So I'm same boat. I'm here to plant a garden and get more fruit on the tree. And if it makes sense, maybe let's have a follow-up early next week or the week after. I've got a Founded in Fort Collins event all next week. It's going to be different nonprofits and different experts and people that I'll have face-to-face with, but Monday's pretty open. So I've got some time to think and strategize and think, you know, like you said for today's call, maybe next, like this week, I'm sharing my speaking from this week. Maybe next week I'll share part one of this conversation and then we can ping pong them to part two over on your channel and get that cross conversation going. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. That's amazing. And yeah, Monday, if you follow up, sounds amazing. I believe you mentioned Monday. Monday sounds good.
Yeah. Same time should work for me because I don't have anything at this time normally, but I'll circle back about that and we can sort it out. So
100%. Let's circle back on that one and then we can definitely make it work, make it happen.
Sounds great, Joseph. I almost called you Josh. I know like 12 Joshes, so.
It's all good. It's all good. I've been
called a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, looking forward to next steps.
Likewise, 100%. I'm also looking to explore your National Geographic Explorer information. Honestly, like,
yeah, I'd love to. You know, the irony of that though is I've always been starving artists with them. It's photojournalism doesn't pay the bills, and me being a corporate speaker and sharing my backstory and how to communicate better, ironically, has been tenfold for helping me pay the bills. And even as I look for full-time work right now, which I've never considered doing, local city government job, my partner's in the federal space, and with the big Cheeto in the office, she doesn't know she'll have a job next week, every week right now. So even with that stuff in the works, the fact that I'm partnering with the Aganna and a few other people means that I can create a lot of equity for myself and maybe a little better balance and not, like you said, lose my soul to having to get a job. I'll still have that YouTube. I'll still have the Litmus Collective. And if anything, I'll be able to pour more back into that and do stuff like have a content editor. I mean, I can edit videos, but it's just more of my time and energy and spoons, as they say. So anyway.
Yep. Awesome. This has been really appreciated. Really appreciate time.
Yeah, likewise. This has been great. I'm looking forward to our next chat, Joseph, and hope you have a wonderful evening.
You too, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.